Good afternoon, everybody. How's everybody doing? All right. How are you? Good? All right, football time.
All righty, everyone. We're going to start with
What's
an
up, buddy?
opening statement from head coach Mario Cristobal. We'll go into questions. If you could please raise your hand for the question, that would be great. But, Coach, take it away.
No, first and foremost, thank you for being here. Hopefully, you had a chance to catch up with some of our players, and hopefully, that their messaging, their responses are a pretty strong indication of what we're looking forward to in camp this year. Certainly, right away, an opportunity to enhance and elevate our culture and our standards by which we operate. I'm making sure that we are competing and earning roles across the board so that everyone could find a role on this football team to contribute in a positive way. It's a great opportunity also to get a little bit more clarity on our identity as a football team by working at our physicality, at our discipline, our ability to execute all the things that have made successful teams at the University of Miami for a long, long time. But all that's easy to say and hard to do, and that's the best part about it. We put a lot of time and effort into the summer, and we expect to make progress with what we do on a daily basis. So that being said, open to questions.
Mark, good to see you.
What's up, buddy?
Listening to the players, you mentioned the message you try to send to them. A lot of them are talking about play to play, day to day, moment to moment, not get caught up in the big picture. How do you handle that with the expectations that come with being in this program, but also outside expectations that this team can be very good?
Well, I think fortunately we had those 6-7 months with them where a lot of things were established, and credit to the players for being open for such a demanding regimen, because it is what we do is very hard. We go now and we go hard, and I think there's a pretty good understanding of that's the way it's going to be. We're not letting off of that, but that we're doing is eventually going to help us take that next step and get better. So the best way to stay grounded is to stay in the moment. The way we practice, the demands of our schedule, the way we teach, the way we progress guys into improving, into earning roles, it's inspiring for them. It's motivating. It really is. And when they see progress, the buy-in becomes that much more, much easier, I would say. So all in all, it's just spending time together, whether it be through our conditioning, program, through our different team activities and events. We have found a way to just get tighter as a team, and we still have work to do in that department. Only way to do that is to spend time and pour ourselves into this camp. So that's what we're looking forward to do.
Mario, do you have guys who are going to be out or limited?
We have a couple. You guys probably saw Zion. His stuff is more of a, these big guys need a tune-up every now and then, so he'll be back in time. Ryan Rodriguez will be out for a significant amount of time. I'm trying to think who else might be out for a bit. I think we're good. Everybody else is, that injury report's a lot smaller than it was in the spring. Obviously, you guys know when we were out there, we were missing a lot of guys, but the healing's been progressing really, really well, and we expect to have most of the team out there.
One follow-up. Is your style, your system, however you want, whatever you want to look for, do you enter camp with a too deep, or does that sort of write itself as camp goes along? Do you have an idea in your mind of the ones and twos right now? How does that work for you?
Yeah, we always get poked at for the organizational chart as opposed to the depth chart, right? You like to practice a lot of different rotations, a lot of different combinations. You want to see who can do what and who can do what together, because it's not only, for example, it's not only the best offensive linemen, it's the best five that work together, right? It's who back there in the secondary is a true quarterback, who can get guys aligned and organized, and if it's not, who can make up for it? Who knows everybody's assignments in the defense so well that they can make us right when we're wrong? So we will try a ton of different combinations, and the key is finding opportunities for guys to earn. So it's two things: you create the opportunity, but then for guys to earn it, so that playing time is something that's really valued around here, and that there's it comes with consequences if things aren't done the right way.
Mario, we live in an interesting age in recruiting, right, where you can get commitments and kids still want to take visits and all that kind of stuff. You guys have obviously done a great job so far getting commitments. Curious what you tell them when they come to you later in the year and say, hey, coach, I'd like to take an extra trip. What's kind of the philosophy when it comes to recruits who say,
Yeah, we don't put our philosophy out there. I don't like to put a lot of stuff out there as it relates to recruiting. We do what we do. It's real simple. We make it real clear that when you commit to Miami, make sure you want to commit to Miami, and make sure when you do that you do what I did as a player. And Jimmy Johnson told me, he asked me, "Do you want to win?" I said, "Of course I want to win." He's like, "Well, you better recruit." And he says, "I don't mean just sell the program, but go find the guys and talk to us and tell us about the guys that can help us take that next step." He says, "You know how we work. We grind. We have great teachers. We have guys that are, arguably the most renowned staff for developing talent and helping the guys achieve next level success as well. So make sure that you're finding guys that are attracted to that type of a blueprint, that type of a regimen." So that's the message to our guys. We spend a lot of time around them. We're very honest and open and genuine with them. So the relationships are real, and you stay the course. You don't come off of that. And along the way, we expect to build this class even more. But we feel that certainly there's a lot of momentum, and that the best is yet to come. Yes, ma'am.
Zion Nelson, can you expound on him a little, what he means to the team? He's been playing since he was a true freshman.
Sure.
I know he chose to come back. He's had a lot of projections,
Mhm.
projections. What does he add to the team? What does he do well specifically?
Tremendous human being, first and foremost. Awesome teammate. The projections, you wouldn't know it by the way he conducts himself and his daily processes and business. Zion is he's a team player, first and foremost. He's a guy that's probably gained about 100 pounds, right, since the day he got here. And what you have now, you have a jumbo athlete. You have a guy that has a skill set of maybe some tight ends out there in the country, just explosive, fast, can accelerate, can come to balance, plays with power, heavy-handed, light-footed, understands the game really well, and has taken on a new scheme and almost a seamless transition for him, and putting him in situations where he can play with power, so we can use his athleticism. And in our offense, contrary to public opinion, offensive linemen are athletes as well. We could run with that narrative whenever we want to, okay? And we like to use those guys as weapons. Zion, in our opinion, guys like, DJ, they're weapons. They can create some tremendous opportunities for us with numbers and leverage and the way that they can gain half position on guys and knock guys off the ball, and then also shut down some of the opponent's better players. So all in all, just honored to have him back and love the way that he works and approaches his daily doings.
And then the other part, I just want to mention about John Campbell, because we know John is
Yep.
back, so now John hasn't played for a whole season.
Yep.
How does he get, into the groove kind of thing, and what do you see out of him? I know
He's already in the groove. We expect John to be one of the best players in the conference and eventually the country. We do. We think that highly of him because he's got a lot of the same traits that Zion has. And to be a great lineman, you got to have those traits. You have to have resiliency. No matter what gets thrown at you got to deal with it and move forward. But he has all those physical traits, and it's combined with the intangibles of a guy that can show toughness and resiliency and fight through tough moments and be in tough situations and come through. The position that those guys play, it comes with a lot. And they both, one guy had to work his way from being a thinner guy. John was always a big guy, but just sustained an injury last year. They both battled through some stuff. They both certainly, they've loved being around Coach Mirabal. Coach Mirabal and the way he coaches and teaches, there's nothing like it in the country. He is the elite of the elite offensive line coaches. And I think that combination together is going to help us to just show tremendous improvement and have success this season.
Hi, Coach. Now that you've been here for the latter part of 6 months here, how enthusiastic and excited are you finally going to get as you finally hit the opening kickoff and you're able to more or less insert your program and put your stamp on it? Because I know there's been a lot of energy surrounding your home, and now it can finally sink in a little bit that this is your program to put your stamp on it.
Well, I'd like to think of it as our program. There's a lot of people in here that have invested a lot in the University of Miami and a lot of people in this building. So I never feel comfortable with that it's yours. Never have been an I guy, won't be that. I'm a small part of it. I'm not thinking about game one because I'm excited about practice number one. I'm excited about yesterday's run, as simple as that may be, because I love the preparation process. I love the development process. I love having Inky Johnson come and address our team and having that message hit 120 guys, right, to 120, 110, compliance, sorry, 110, that's all we got. I love it hitting 110 guys right between the eyes, because you know what? You gain ground towards making a difference in the way that they do everything. And you've heard it before. We keep saying how you do anything is how you do everything. And that process now, we're in that submarine, right? We're shut up from the outside world, and we can really just keep hitting our guys with educational pieces, with ways to get better from a football standpoint, with the team concept, and finding ways to get better and eliminating sensitivity and understanding that the work is what it is and it takes what it takes. So yes, for some people, you know, things are, you know, Christmas and whatnot. For me, this is my favorite time of the year. This is my favorite time of the year because of everything that you can gain and everything that you can accomplish towards the big picture. The big picture will be a reflection of camp.
Mario, you have a very confident presence. The players have talked about it, that when you enter a room, you have the command of the room, you seem so confident. In your private moments, you know, this is a big job, and the national eyes are on you. Do you ever have moments of fear, insecurity, nerves going into this season? What's been the most
This is one of those trick questions, right?
You know, what's been the most challenging part, you know, of this job so far?
The private moments, you don't have any. Let's call it what it is. You know, you got to go, and there's a lot of work to do. We know. I think it's clear how much I love Miami, live and die for it, and there's people in this building that feel the exact same way, and that because of what we want to accomplish and where we are currently at and the momentum we're gaining, there's a lot to do. So there's really no time to stop and think about that stuff. In terms of you know, all those other words, fear, and they're just not, you know, some of you know my household and the way I was raised. We think more along the lines of opportunity. You know, we don't pat ourselves on the back or think we're better than anybody else. We just don't operate that way. We don't. We have work to do. We have an unbelievable opportunity, and we want to go find out. I want to go find out, you know, how far we can go day one, day two, and keep building off of that. So all focus is on the Miami Hurricanes. There is absolutely zero focus on me, my life, how I feel, what I think. Every ounce of focus is on those players, these coaches, the people that support it, and finding a way to keep just doing that.
One thing, a follow-up, from what you anticipated the job would be to what it's been so far, have there been any surprises?
Again, kind of along the same lines, and I'll give you another boring answer. Certainly not going to help with the clicks or whatnot, but I don't know if I spend too much time focusing on that stuff. At the end of each day, it's like assess, hey, what have we accomplished? How far did we gain ground towards our goal? What could I have done better? And I got to get on this right away, you know, when it's time to get going again the next day. What I am extremely grateful for is a group of young men that, you know, change is hard. It is. And that have allowed us to instill a regiment, have allowed us to push them, have allowed us to demand the world of them, and all they've done is just keep coming. And they know that camp is going to be a tremendous challenge. And they're excited for it. So I think it's more along the lines of gratitude than anything else. Really grateful.
Mario, what is that moment like when you see a competition level get to a point, and there's got to be moments where like, okay, this is what it's starting to look like. What's that moment like for you as a coach?
Oh, I don't know if you ever get there. You know, Dick told me, an old mentor used to always say, set those goals so high that they are borderline unreachable. So you never quite get there, and you keep striving for it. So, you know, you can see it when it improves, and you see it in technical work, you see it in fundamental work, you see it in a light come on in terms of a guy want to finish more. In other words, understanding that, you know, at some point in time, what we do and how we do it has got to be more important to us than what the other guys do and how important it is to them. That's a big moment for a football team, all right? And that's part of, you know, some of the goals that we have in line for our guys. So, and competition makes that a reality, right? You've seen so many guys, I think, in the past couple of weeks, from Dan Sileo to Randall Hill. I mean, they've talked about it. You know, they put it out there on how Antro Roll, on how important that was, that feeling that kept you on edge, that got you on edge and kept you on edge, right? Because that's the way you play the game. You get on edge and you stay on edge, right? The tougher it gets, the better you're going to play. So I think that's all good stuff. No idea if I answered your question.
Hi Mario, how have you seen Don Cheney kind of work in his recovery, both from a physical standpoint and a mental standpoint?
Yeah, I see an awesome 6 weeks that he has had. I see a guy like any other guy that when you go through an injury like he had, that there's difficulty understanding, man, why did this happen? And then, whoa, this work it doesn't feel quite normal yet. And when's the breakthrough? Well, I think he's had that over the past 6 weeks. And you see a guy that's trimmed down his body, that's gotten in shape, that is walking around with a really strong demeanor. So I see a guy that's hungry, that has an appetite for competing and for being a tremendous part of what we're doing this season.
And similarly, about Javonte Citizen, what have been your first impressions since he's arrived on campus?
He gets after it. There's no backing down in that guy. That guy is tough. He's physical. He works. He wants to compete. He's a big guy now. That's no little skinny dude now. This guy is, Javonte has taken great pride in, number one, choosing and coming to Miami and adapting quickly to being in a different environment and taken to a strength and conditioning regimen that is very demanding. As a freshman, those are, right, the most difficult parts of your path, your initial path. He's done a great job with it, and he's going to be in there competing right with the rest of them.
Lou Hadley talked today about, he said when he was going through his process about deciding whether to come back.
Have some water by any chance? Sorry about. Go ahead.
He said in his process, he talked to you for about an hour,
Mm-hmm.
and that the conversation had nothing to do with football.
Right.
But what was the vision that you would summarize on him on when they were making these decisions about whether to go pro, whether to come back, just to get to know these guys?
Sure.
What were those meetings like for you when he said he was blown away, and again, football hardly ever came up by his recollection?
Yes, sir. Well, met with every single player on the team. Met with them again after spring ball as well, and then several others after, because that's the greatest form of respect. Give somebody your time. Give somebody your time, and the only way to respect someone is to get to know them. Only way to get to know them is to, invest time in them. First of all, I wanted to get to know the guy because I had seen him from afar for a couple years, and he looked like the Undertaker. Right? He had his tatted up and boved up guy, and showed tremendous production on the field, very physical. I saw him making tackles. And then I learned a little bit about his family situation, and having coached a couple guys that have come from overseas, that comes with challenges. And then digging, just listening to him talk, he has a tremendous love for the University of Miami and his experience here. He has unfinished business that he wants to take care of, and he really wants to, and this is rare, right? Like, at least you don't hear publicly much, that he really, truly wants to take in the college football experience, and that's on us to provide, and that means a lot. That's that's not just victories and dancing in confetti. That comes with a lot. It comes with with teaching and teaching moments, and some are fun and some are not so fun. But he wants to be pushed. He's extremely driven. He's extremely smart. This guy really understands the game of football, leverage, angles, all that stuff. So I guess I would say I was more blown away by him than anything else. So him deciding to come back, we all know is a tremendous blessing. But it also, it's the right kind of challenge that you want as a coach. You want these high-level guys to put you on the spot. Say, all right, coach, how are we going to continue to elevate, what we're doing, what I'm doing. So really fired up to have Lou back.
Coach, we have time for a couple more, so Gabby in the back.
Hey, Coach, just how important is it to have this good relationship with IMG Academy and being so close? And obviously, a lot of the nation invested in it. So, just being at Miami, what's the importance of that relationship? And just quick follow, you mentioned early on when you got here that you kind of wanted to get class ahead and recruiting 16 guys on board. Do you feel like you're getting closer to where you can kind of be recruiting ahead to maybe the pace that you want to be at?
No, we're not. It usually takes about a year and a half, 2 years to get there. It's important to have good relationships with everybody. That's one of the first things on the agenda upon arrival, and something that we're continuing to do is to mend relationships, to reestablish and reconnect. I want to use the right terminology because I want to make sure that I'm respectful of anyone that came before us. I don't believe in the other stuff. Is to really reestablish, reconnect, have lines of communication, and then build trust. And the best way to build trust is, what have you done with players of coaches, right? What have you done in your previous stops where you've had some of these guys? Because a lot of these coaches, right, they've coached at different spots. Maybe you had one player when you coached up there, you know, whatever, during time at Alabama or time at Oregon. And what was that player's experience like? Because that's probably the best indicator of what it's going to be like for his next players, right, in the future. So, but obviously they do a great job. They have a lot of really good players, and I think the word is out and the momentum has been created because there's a lot of really high-level professionals here that are all about developing guys at the highest level at a place that has committed its resources to being the best in the country. So that's an awesome combination with a city that's widely considered and should be unanimously considered the best in the world. So I think all those things, you know, tend to create a good buzz and attention, and has led to a lot of momentum in recruiting. That's the best way I could refer to it, and stay compliant, you know.
Coach, how would you say being from Miami and having ties to South Florida has helped you build a relationship with a lot of the players on the team?
Well, I think when you've worn the pads and you've actually been at a place, I think it allows you to have some credibility, but I also think that humility leads to better credibility. I think it's important that you come in as one that's a servant leader that is prepared to do whatever humanly possible to elevate everyone in the building, and that's not willing to compromise the principles and values that can get you there as well, right? Is that a fine line? No, I think that's a very clear, big, fat, bold line. And I'd like to think that as a program and as coaches and myself, we like to make sure that we stay on that line and keep it clear, because at the end, it's intentional, right? What is your true intention? Well, our intention is to make sure that these guys become the best future fathers, husbands, leaders, football players, graduates, multiple diplomas, whatever it may be, right? So that's the intention, and they're clear as day. What comes with it? A regimen that requires everything that you have. So I think with those things being front and center, I think it's great that I'm from Miami. I think it really helps to a certain extent, but I also think that lines and where you're from and all that stuff can be put aside as long as you are doing right by people to the best of your ability on a daily basis, and that is your intention. So I think that probably has more value than anything else.
Coach, we'll wrap up here with Brandon.
Coach, the messaging was very strong. You know, when we talk to the players,
Right.
everybody's talking about work. Everybody's talking about maximum effort. How you do anything is how you do everything. This is the third time we've been at the helm. How do you institute sort of, you know, universal messaging and buy-in, and how does that kind of look when you come in from day one to like right before fall practice? Because these guys have talked about, yeah, we worked hard before,
Right.
but it's different.
Right.
But everybody's saying the same thing, which is rare.
Sure.
You know, and I've covered this program for over 10 years, and I've never seen that happen. Not to say that hasn't happened before, but it was remarkable to kind of see that. And I just want to see how much you were willing to share with us about like how that roadway, what was the roadway to that?
Well, first off, it's good to know that the players are, you know, speaking the same language. That's the most important part. There's just no fluff to what we do. And I had coaches and teachers and mentors that didn't fluff it up either. And, you know, Alonzo Highsmith's right down the hallway, so is Roland Smith, Mike Rumpf. We got a slew of other guys that have either coached with or been associated with, you know, mentors and coaches like that. Dennis Lavelle, I always mention, my high school coach. And I think when you have mentors and leaders like that, it creates a DNA, right? And the more you surround yourself with people with the same DNA, it becomes a system, a belief system. And when you show it, when your coaches, when your strength coaches, when your team leaders, when they're living out what they're saying all the time, when they're pouring their entire existence into it, and we see improvement, we see progress, and you know what? The rest runs its course. You know, that's when it starts to build momentum. But it all begins again, with what are the intentions, right? What is the level of connection and what is the level of respect, and is it genuine? We all know, I mean, come on, man. We all know why we're back at Miami. You know, what a blessing, what a privilege. And we also know the work that comes with it. Well, we've started doing the work, and we have a lot more work to do. And man, that is the most exciting part. And I know that sounds boring to the media or whatnot, but I love the fact that we have an opportunity to go work with guys that want to work and that understand that working at it and being real and finding those moments and those teaching moments of education, of football, of life is going to allow us to progress as a program and come together as a team. That's awesome stuff. So you can't skip the painful steps, right? You can't do it. There's lumps along the way, sometimes in practice, and you want to make sure you learn as many in practice as you can so you don't have to learn them on game day. I think we have a committed group, and more importantly, we're going to find out here in the next several weeks.
Thank you very much.
Okay? All right, guys. Awesome. Looking forward to seeing you at practice. You can pick up your helmets and your shoulder pads from Sam downstairs. Thanks, guys.